didn't want to subject you to that again, so I had another guy.
In the Sten Grinds episode, I had a lovely woman called Word on the Wind helping me out, because Skyzo didn't want to redo that episode. For some reason, I've registered in my subconscious as he, and I just had this really bad habit of calling her the wrong pronouns. I'm really sorry. I would also ask that you please forgive me for any other future time I slip up.
What it boils down to is just, what it is you're saying. Don't give in to complacency. Stop and think about what it is you're saying.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Breath of Fire 2. Today's bonus episode is going to be all the optional stuff that you might want to get for a completionist run, but isn't really that helpful or efficient for a walkthrough. And of course, joining me today is the lovely Word on the Wind. How you doing?
Hello there. I'm doing alright.
So, last time we got done blowing up the holy city of Evrai, although sadly, our Rand's mother, Daisy, died, which was our whole reason for being there, and Tigga sacrificed himself, Ray sacrificed himself, and if we had not been more careful, our father Goner would have sacrificed himself as well. It's where a lot of important NPCs just drop like flies.
Yeah, the charge on the cathedral is what a lot of people consider to be, like, the high point of the game, and it's kind of easy to see why, because it's like, oh, this is where, like, a lot of these threads start to really, entwine, and things go down, and you don't know what's going to happen next, and it's like, oh shit, this is an SNES game that was made in, like, 94 or something, and they just had a guy's mother die before his eyes. Holy shit, this is intense.
Indeed. But on a more silly note, here is a mostly worthless tenant called Whoopi, but she has one line of dialogue that I'm very excited to show off. It involves Nympho, actually, and it paints a happy ending for her at around the 23-minute mark, so I'm gonna recruit her for Township. But yeah, as far as the gameplay is concerned, you'll notice I turned Nina into an angel, right?
Yep, you've got her mixed with Wind Holy, right?
Correct. And I wanted to show off her ability because you're not going to see it in the future. It used to be the bedrock of all speedruns because of how much it sped up the endgame dungeon. Mm-hmm. She has this ability called Banish. Now, me and Nitrodon, we were so insistent on figuring out everything about the game that we found an even better method for getting through the endgame dungeon. That kind of invalidated her, which is kind of a shame. So this episode is also an exercise in showing off her ability a bit while getting the Water Shaman.
So, bearing that in mind, and I've previously expressed that I don't like Sten, and I don't want to use him and whatnot, and I do actually use Nina when I play. I'm very familiar with this form and what it does and like all of that other business. So it's one of the it's a form that blends into Final Party where all three of the other characters are able to get a double fusion that results in a transformation, and it works out pretty well.
It does. Anyways, what you saw there was the summoner. He's basically your sound test of the game. You recruit him after expanding Township, and you can play most of the songs, except for, I think, the ending credits song. Maybe the final boss theme. And then
There's
here
actually
we have...
a selection that he doesn't let you play. He lets you play about 2/3 of the tracks of the game. Like, the second battle theme, he won't play that if I recall correctly.
Huh. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think he does. Weird.
Yeah, there's actually a rather stark number of tracks that he doesn't actually play, and it's very weird why they would let you play most of the tracks and not all of the tracks, and not have it be like, oh, well, this condition will allow you to get, you know, the remaining ones. And here we have Sollo.
Yes. Donate 2,000, or it might actually be 17,000. I'm gonna put that in the description once I've confirmed that, but yeah, you have to donate before everything in the cathedral goes down, or else she won't be there. Before Tigga dies, to be specific. And this here is where you would get the Holy Shaman if you didn't get her the secret way like I did when we fought Necromanson.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time you're supposed to get her. And then we're gonna go up to get the shaman that we've skipped ever since, well, part 9, really. Because now's the best time to do it.
Yes. Yeah, like, this one is entirely optional to skip, but I always feel that it's, you know, it's one of those things where you might as well pick her up because you do want her eventually.
And here's Banish.
Yep.
And... hold on, build up, build up. Boom! They're gone.
Just like, no, go away.
You don't get experience in gold, but, well, things certainly end faster.
It's there if you're not in good shape and you need to back out or something, or if you just do not care about those things and just want to conserve your resources as you're heading in.
The only thing, though, is that it's partially based on the enemy's luck. So endgame dungeon enemies have lots of luck, so even with the highest wisdom multiplier, right now Nina has a multiplier of 60%, you can never go above 89% effectivity. So it's something that usually works, but it can screw you if it decides not to work and the enemies decide to just clobber her out of her fusion form.
If I recall correctly, you can still issue orders as per usual for everyone else, so it's just kind of like, alright, everyone just like start beating things, and, you know, if the encounter ends, excellent. If not, it's not, you know, too much of a loss of momentum.
That is true, especially with Kaiser Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
As for the enemies here, they're all low luck enemies, so Nina is guaranteed.
Yep.
Which makes it doubly irritating that the exit spell is grayed out.
Alright, so we picked up Sesso, who, if I recall correctly, I think what she does is she raises AP max, doesn't she?
I think it was Wisdom.
Is it Wisdom? I know that, the shaman that, is not yet available, and this one is the one that I apply to, Cat.
The Devil Shaman, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't going to give that away quite yet. I was talking around that, but yeah, I do know that, the combination I do for Cat is, Sesso and the sixth one.
She's in the next episode, by the way. You're not gonna see her today.
Hmm. I will say, just because I will not be around for the commentary of that, I do like that the Holy Shaman is, like, the rudest piece of shit and an absolute asshole, and the Devil Shaman is, like, super chill and supportive and friendly.
Yeah, and super shy.
I feel like that's probably, like, a subtle, like, in addition to just being, like, you know, an amusing dichotomy, it's also, like, a little bit of a follow-through on the whole, you know, kind of theme of the game. divinities are not necessarily, your friend.
That's an interesting point. Thank you. Anyways, that sign there, I guess, is how you're supposed to find goons, although I think it's more likely you find it just by traveling around.
I have a whale. This is a beach. Let's go.
Yeah. And are you ready for some of the most unhelpful elder trees ever? This guy, for example, he just says there's a lady called Gigi Cup whose breasts are just really huge.
Okay, I was listening to this on, a prior episode, and I gotta correct you. It's supposed to be GG, like a cup size.
Oh, GG.
Yeah, so it's her name is Gigi, or at least in the Resweet translation.
Yeah.
Her original name is Ichichi, which is, also a breast joke.
Yeah. And this guy just tells us the plot of the game. Whoa. Kind of a bummer, that. Actually, and the elder tree that mentioned Gigi Cup, he doesn't mention why she's important, does she?
Doesn't really say it in an overt manner, just kind of says, she's really good with machines, and it's like, if you've explored the well in Township, that there's some weird-ass machinery going on in there, so that's probably, the inciting link that would inspire you to want to seek her out.
I guess. And then this guy just tells us to talk to Gandalf the Elder Tree, which we already did, so may as well show it off. They're not that helpful, but I guess the one. Yeah.
I kind of want to ask Ryusui if they decided on Sea of Green to make an obtuse Beatles reference, because that's from the song Yellow Submarine.
I kind of want to ask him what that text sign said originally.
Was that the whale cake one?
That was the one. That was the sign that asked how you got here. Did you hop here or did you fly here?
Oh, I see. I think that the original funky translation does say something to that effect. And here we have the callback cabin.
Yes, there's no recruiting these level 35 monsters like you did with Dees, sadly, but oh well, we need something of a difficulty curve.
What we are looking at here are the most useless character and the most useful character from Breath of Fire 1.
Yeah. Fortunately, he absorbed the useless character into his essence to make a man out of him, so it all balances out. He does fuse with Bo, right? One of his forms does?
Karn's final form involves an absorption that basically leaves you with 4 people.
Yeah, so probably. And here we have, I guess you could call him something of a mini-boss encounter or a super encounter. These guys have 1,000 HP apiece and are very rare to encounter. I kind of forced them to show up. Mm-hmm. The only way you're reasonably gonna beat them is with Kaiser Dragon, because one, they hit hard, and more importantly, they have such high wisdom that their death spell will just bypass the resistance check entirely unless you have the life bracer on. It always hits. Even the final boss can't claim that. So make sure you have everyone spamming AoEs, because Kaiser Dragon is 1 HP away from KOing him completely. Although as consolation, Aspara jumps up 2 levels, because they give that much.
Yeah, it's definitely an exercise of risks. It's like, okay, how many people are going to be standing at the end of this? And if Ryu is the one who gets canned, then you're just kind of hosed.
By the way, did you know that sleeping revives dead people?
That's a bit of an RPG staple, or at least a JRPG staple, so, yeah.
That or an anime staple. You ever see those shows where they say the guy was unconscious for like 2 weeks or something and you wonder how they're not dead by then?
I mean, that sounds pretty reasonable to me, considering that hospitals deal with that kind of thing all the time.
Anyways,
it takes special care, but it's not unreasonable.
Yeah. So these guys are basically the goo champions. Just instead of having insta-death spells, they just hit you really, 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 really hard. Like this. They have a 50% crit rate. Did you know that?
That is mighty. Also, that particular one, they're just really, really, really wanted a vegan kebab.
He wanted a salad toss show. Anyways, are those guys taken care of. Not as much experience, but oh well. It's a good thing they give a lot of gold, because we're gonna check out the mightiest armory outside of Beretta.
Oh, Beretta.
Yeah. Now, most of these are just flat upgrades like the Damascene, Penetrator, Amber Ring, etc. I think the Wisdom Gown has something... I think it boosts your wisdom, which is kinda cool, but no special resistances. The one you'd really want is the Brave Armor, which boosts your attack. And also the Mother... No, not the Mother Robe. Actually, maybe. If it's special, I'll put its properties in the description. And the Soul Shield, which will double your wisdom when you use it as an item. If you have the money, absolutely get some. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember the Sun Mask is worth picking up. I think it's the best headpiece that Cat can use.
I know, but is it like a flat defensive boost, or does it have a special property to it?
I think it's just the best stats that she can get. Because I know that she doesn't have, like, great defensive equipment options.
Right. It might be resistant to fire. If it is, I'll put it in the description. And if not, I won't describe the Sun Mask at all.
Yeah, it's a hazy memory for me. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you know what's coming next, huh?
Oh, I know what's coming. I was actually a little surprised that you didn't do this on the first pass through, but I was also not surprised.
Well, I mean, the attack you get here halves the remaining HP of all monsters, but it's like, what's the point when I can just blow him up with Kaiser Dragon? Anyways, they're demonstrating this. The BOOM sound is the A button. The ding sound is the B button. And you think it's easy. You just play those sounds at the exact time that they played in the demonstration. Right?
So the question I have to any prospective audience members in this moment is, do you have actual musical training? If not, this is probably undoable.
No, I know an LPer that had music theory training, and it still took him a dozen tries to get it. And I'll tell you why. Do you see that counter, that those 5 to 6 digit numbers at the upper left?
Mm-hmm.
Those are frames. Frames are 1/60th of a second. The frame windows for the inputs are 8 frames. You have to get it within 1/7 to 1/8 of a second. That is how strict the timing is.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to do that 11 times. Can you believe it?
I mean, if you ask a fighting game player, they're gonna say, like, oh, that's a lot of time.
Well, I'm not playing... well, okay, I get it. Capcom made Street Fighter. Well, you didn't make a fighting game, did you? And then...
In fairness, the chimes don't give the greatest degree of frame data. That much is true.
Oh, and all it tells you when you fail is, I think we screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Ow! That's helpful. Would you mind telling me what I got wrong?
Yeah, like, if there was, like, a visual feedback to this whole thing, this would be, much more palatable. But there isn't, so it's not.
I mean, there is now, because I had to cheat for it. And even then, I just slowed it down to 12% so I could just be over and done with this. Fortunately, you don't see the slowed down footage on playback, but that's just for professionalism. Anyways, if you are gonna get this for someone, it may as well be a Spara. He has the AP, and he doesn't really have a lot of offensive options, but it is not worth it. Not worth it at all. This game is not hard enough to warrant this degree of effort. Trust me on this.
Oh, they went with Earth Chant for the translation. All right.
Not Boombada.
You see, I like Boombada just because it kind of rolls off the tongue and sounds kind of appropriate.
Yeah. Now, this NPC that we recruited at Melodia, we need Sten in our party for this. And that's because this Farlan character is not who they appear to be. Let's see if you can figure it out. Word on the wind?
Well, this is a bit of a loaded question, considering I already know what the answer here is. But, yeah, this is someone who Sten knows. But there again, is that really a surprise to anyone?
Well, she changed her skin color somehow. I don't know, maybe some of the shamans are helping her out for this. Girl matters and all that. Wasn't she pink when we saw her last?
I mean, makeup exists. You just need, to apply it correctly, and you can give yourself an altered complexion.
I suppose so. But anyways, those plot points I keep keeping track of in all the videos, you have to go through 2 of them before this scene will show up. Otherwise, I think she just says something generic, even with Sten in your party. Which is part of the reason why this was timed this way, because Water Shaman and Earth Shaman both add a plot point to make up 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Elfarlan's... I guess somehow she's able to abandon her country to follow Sten around and sit. That or she's taking a vacation. I guess she can do that. Do you think she did that when Spooke took over the country? She was just on vacation and suddenly there was a zealot dictator sitting around?
I think you need a vacation after that.
True. And then if you visit her again, she just drops all pretenses and tells us to come back safe.
I don't necessarily know if that's dropping the pretenses, but it's definitely kind of on the, I know you know way of things.
And speaking of reveals of the matter of the heart, time for something very special. And I only came across it because I was digging through the text dump one time. Are you ready for it? Word on the wind?
Well, let's see what's up.
Let's see. Nympho, how I thought she had a sad ending?
Go on.
Well, this woman is mostly useless. She gives you hints as to where to go next, but they're always really late or really vague. Like during the High Fort, all she says is that the general is a really bad person, and that's it. And she keeps saying that even after you've left High Fort.
Just really making it clear.
Yeah. But if you talk to her after you cured the queen, she says this, which I actually really like, because I did feel a little bad for Nympho, crazy as she was. And I wonder if they intended to do more with her, like maybe she was supposed to have Deese's role, and she was the one that helped you cure the queen. What do you think?
Oh, that's a bit of a wild speculation there. I don't know if Nympho's role was ever supposed to be, like, that expanded or anything, but I do think that, her little plot line didn't get completely resolved as much as they probably intended.
Well, at the very least, we know the writers of the game shipped the two, so that's nice. But apart from this woman is useless. In fact, after a certain point, I think she just says, "I see great success in your future." But you didn't need me to tell you that, did ya?
I wonder if she'll say that if you kill Ganner.
I ought to test that. I don't think so. I didn't see it in the dump, but I'll check it out and put that in the description as well.
Because that's a bit of a dubious statement if you do go that path.
Oh, true. Anyways, this has been another bonus episode. This has been the lovely and gracious Word on the Wind joining us today. This is Fiona Day Quester signing out. Have a nice day, everyone, and God bless.
Bye.
Bye.